Welcome to online class. So in the last class we have discussed regarding the structures of Indian financial system, then the relationship between the financial system and the economic development, that is how the financial system contribute for the economic development, as well as the issue of the Indian financial system. Okay, in today's class we'll discuss regarding the development of financial system in India. Okay, see, the development of financial system in India can be divided into three phases. Okay, that is the first phase, that is development up to 1951, then the second phase, that is Indian financial system development between the year 1951 and the 1990, and the third phase, that is Indian financial system development after the year 1991. We'll understand one by one in detail. Okay, the first phase is development up to 1951. See, the financial system in India before 1951 was not satisfactory. Why? Because before 1951, organization of our Indian financial system was based on what? Traditional economy. That is, here traditional economy means it is one in which the per capita output is low and constant. That is, the whatever the output was there for per person or for per capita per head, it was very low and it was constant. There was no increment in any kind of the capita output. Okay, then therefore it was clear that Indian financial system before 1951 suffered from various drawbacks. Then what are those drawbacks? The first is industry had no access to outside savings. That is, the whatever the outside savings were there, those were not accepted in the financial system. The whatever the savings from the public, okay, the financial system, what it does, it accepts the savings from the savers, they are the outsiders, so those savings are not accepted. Okay, then Indian financial system was unorganized. See, before 1951 there was no set of rules and the regulation to control and manage what? Indian financial system. Okay, so it was unorganized, and such unorganized sector used to provide what? Finance to industry. Already the sectors were already unorganized. There was no proper set of rules and regulations to protect the interest of the investors, as well as the to protect the one who are borrowing the money. So no expectations of proper management was there in before the 1951. Next is absence of financial institutions. See, there was absence of financial institutions only. The financial institutions were not introduced for providing long-term finance to what? Industries. Okay, next comes is phase 2, that is development between the year 1951 and the 1990. See, in the year 1951 or since 1951, introduction of 5-year plans in our country had a great development in the Indian financial system. Okay, so which all development has taken place in the financial system we'll understand in 4 steps. That is, the first one is public ownership of financial institutions, establishment of special financial institutions, protection to investors, and participation of financial institutions in corporation management. Okay, first we'll understand the public ownership of financial institutions. See, the public ownership of financial institutions means the transfer of private ownership to the public control has took place in this phase. Okay, then India has nationalized various financial institutions in order to what? Ensure the flow of finance in the right direction. The whatever the public ownership of financial institution was introduced in the phase has classified into again 2 phases, that is nationalization of the financial institutions and the establishment of the new financial institutions. Then what is nationalization of the financial institutions? As this phase itself says that the private ownership or the private controls were transferred to the public controls, that is to the governments. So they the whatever the financial institution was under the control of the private sectors were transferred to the public controls. Okay, that is known as what? Nationalization. Then nationalization of, firstly the nationalization of RBI was done in the year 1948. Then the first bank which was introduced was the Imperial Bank of India, which was established as a State Bank of India in the year 1956, and it was nationalized. Okay, then the nationalization of 245 life insurance companies took place, okay, in the year 1956. Then the 14 commercial banks were nationalized in the year 1969 under the ownership of the Government of India. Then establishment of General Insurance Corporation was in the year 1972, which was again nationalized in the same year. Then the nationalization of another additional 6 commercial banks was done in the year 1980. Okay, next is establishment of special financial institutions. Here special financial institution is classified into two, that is development banks and the venture capital institutions. See, the in order to provide the funds for industry and agriculture development, Government of India established various financial institutions. You can take example of UTI, that is Unit Trust of India, which was established in the year 1964, and the NABARD, that is nothing but the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, was established in the year 1981. Then next, that is the specialized financial corporation is again classified into two, that is development banks and the venture capital institutions. See, the development banks are nothing but which allocates their funds from their sponsors and distribute those funds among the others who are in a need of it. They do not accept or they allocate the fund from the savers, they allocate the funds from their sponsors. Okay, so the development bank play an important role in what? Economic development of a country. The concept of development banking is a new concept used for the first time in the post Second World War period. So it refers to the what? Financial institutions to foster the development of the industry. Okay, this you can take many examples for the development banks, like Industrial Financial Corporation of India, that is IFCI, then Industrial Development Bank of India, that is IDBI, then ICICI, then State Finance Corporation like SFCs. Okay, many development banks are introduced in the second phase. Then venture capital institution. Before understanding the venture capital institution, we'll understand what is venture capital. See, venture capital is nothing but when the company starts up its business with a goal to grow and develop its business, it needs what? Certain amount of investment. So those investment were known as what? Venture capital. So in order to provide such venture capital to the companies, the venture capital institutions were formed. In the year 1986, the IDBI venture capital was established, and even IFCI established venture capital institutions. Similarly, in order to provide venture capital, the ICICI and the UTI jointly established the TDICI, that is Technology Development and Information Company of India Limited, in the year 1988. Okay, the next is protection to investors. See, in order to protect the interests of the investors, various acts and credit rating institutions were established. You can take examples of many acts like Company Act 1956, Capital Issue Act 1956, Securities Regulation Act 1956, then the credit rating institutions like Credit Rating and Information Service of India, that is CRISIL, CRISIL, then ICRA, that is Investment for Information and Credit Rating Agency of India. Okay, next, the last stage of the phase 2 is participation in corporate management. See, the institutions for industry, that is financial institutions which provides the funds to industry, shifted its focus from the problems of supply of finance to the impact of the institutional operations on the corporate power structure in India. So they not only concentrated on the problems of the supply of finance, but they also concentrated on the corporate management, that is where the corporate are investing and directing towards their investment decisions. Okay, the last phase is development after 1991. See, on account of LPG or on account of introduction of the LPG, that is liberalization, globalization and privatization. Liberalization means what? Minimization of the restriction. Privatization means transfer of ownership from public to private, that is giving the chances to the private sectors. Then globalization means opening up of the economy for the whole world. Okay, that is known as what? LPG. Okay, so this introduction of the LPG has brought a tremendous changes in the Indian financial system. So what development it has introduced, will understand, that is establishment of private insurance companies. See, the LPG has given the chances to the private insurance companies to market their products. Then establishment of the merchant banks, then development of the capital market, changing the profiles of the commercial banks, then growth of the mutual fund industries and the establishment of the SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India. Okay, this is regarding what? Development of the financial system in India. Now the next topic comes is reforms in financial system. Reforms means the improvements which has been taken place in the financial system. See, as I have told you, the introduction of the LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization, and technological advances influences on the what? Indian financial system. So the liberalization process has opened what? New opportunities of the business for financial institutions. In order to survive in a competitive environment, financial institutions have been diversifying their traditional activities into what? Non-traditional activities. So certain financial reforms, that is changes or the improvements, are necessary for the sound growth and the development of the financial institutions. See, before the year 1990, that is from the 1960 to the 1990, there was no proper development of the financial system. So this was because of there was no control over the pricing of financial assets, flow of transaction barrier, and that resulting into what? Low liquidity and high cost. So in order to remove all these barriers, the improvements or the reforms in financial systems were introduced. Then what are those financial reforms? These reforms are classified into three types, that is policy reforms, banking reforms and the capital reforms. First we'll understand the policy reforms one by one. The policy reforms includes interest rates were changed, that is the whatever the interest rates were decided before the 1990 were changed. Then the reduction in the SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio, in the ratio of the statutory liquidity, there was a reduction, that is from the 38% to the 23%. Then the capital adequacy norms for the banks, that is financial institutions have introduced the capital adequacy. As the banks and the institutions requires the capital, there was a adequacy norms was introduced. Next comes is the private sector was allowed to set up banks mutual fund. The mutual fund was only restricted for the banks. So in the policy reforms, the private sectors were also allowed to set up what? Bank mutual funds. Then the private sectors was allowed to set up bank mutual funds, insurance companies. Okay, then even the insurance companies. Then the foreign banks were permitted to open their branches in India. Then RBI, SBI, FCI and IRBI were converted into what? Public limited companies in the policy reforms. Okay. Next comes is banking reforms. Then that is bank changes in the banking rules. What are the rules to what are the rules are changed in the banking reforms? That will understand. See, the interest rates on the deposits as well as the loans of the banks were changed. That is were improved. Then nationalized banks and the SBI were allowed to enter the capital market. See, the nationalized banks and the SBIs were restricted only in their sectors, that is banking sectors, but after the banking reforms they were allowed in the capital market also. Then the performance obligations and commitments should be fulfilled and submitted to the RBI. The rules had been liberalized in respect of project finance. The finances which are done for the projects were liberalized, that is the rules and the regulations were minimized for the project financing. Then the introduction of the international accounts standards for banks to make their balance sheet transparent. Okay, next comes is what? Capital reforms. The capital reforms will understand in 5 different reforms, that is primary market reforms, secondary market reforms, government securities market reforms, global market reforms, and the monetary policy. So first one is primary market reforms. See, the merchant banking operations were brought under the control of SEBI for investors protection. Then proper disclosure in the offer document, that is in the document the proper disclosure should be there, it should be transparent. Then prescription of improved disclosure standards, the whatever the standards are improved, that should be disclosed in the prescription. Then listed companies were to furnish annual statements to stock exchanges. The whatever the companies which are listed in the stock exchanges, they should provide the annual statements to their investors. Then modification and relaxation of current guidelines for issue of bonus shares. The guidelines for the issue of bonus shares are modified in the primary market reforms. Then other measures of reforms introduced by the SEBI, such as introduction of capital adequacy norms for the brokers, then mutual funds, then public issues. Okay, then restrictions for the capital market norms access for companies, then no restrictions for public sector banks to access in the capital market. Okay, these are what some of the changes took place in the primary market. Then in the secondary market, the changes which are took place is permission is given for the establishment of private mutual funds. Then UTI brought under the control of the SEBI. Then introduction of carry forward system in the stock exchange, establishment of the depository system in the stock exchange. Then restrictions for custody and services. Okay, then modification of listing agreement, then introduction of screen based trading system, establishment of clearing house or clearing corporation. Okay, next comes is government securities market reforms, that is the treasury bills had replaced its limit from 364 days to 182 days. Then maturity period for new issue of central government securities were reduced from 20 to 10 years, and for state government securities from 15 to 10 years. Then guidelines for the primary dealers in the state government securities market was issued in the March 1995. Then 6 new instruments were introduced, like zero coupon bonds, tap stock, then partly paid government stock, then floating rate bonds, then capital indexed bonds, then tap and partly paid stocks. Okay, next is global financial market reforms, that is flexible changes in the rate system was introduced. Then exchange control were done in the legally dismantled. Then foreign institutional investors were allowed to enter the capital market on the registrations with the SEBI. Then foreign institutional investors were permitted to set up 100% debt funds. Then Indian companies were allowed to raise funds from the global markets through various instruments. Lastly, the monetary policy of RBI, that is review of macroeconomic and monetary development. Then monetary policy was introduced in the year 2002 or the 3. Then financial sector reforms were also introduced. Okay, this is regarding what reforms in the financial system, and with this we are done with the unit 1. Thank you.